clothes. I have a leather apron that I wear sometimes, just to protect my clothes. But I always wear cotton because the hot glass won't stick to cotton. Oh. So like synthetic fibers, the glass will stick to them and melt, and people get really bad burns from that. So yeah, so I think it's really it's as safe as you are careful. I always ask my family not to come in when the torch is on. Don't open the door. I don't want to get startled and burn myself or whatever. So yeah,
I would think the stringers could pose a hazard too. So I saw in the video, blood or some sticking up out of a little holder on your wood table, and I can see how you just accidentally bumped them, and now you've got broken, jagged edges,
broken tanks, the glass everywhere. Yeah, and these stringers that I brought are actually. I don't know if you guys these. Oh, yeah. Well, these are actually fat stringers for me. No. So I don't know if you can see how thick these are. So these are about I don't know, a millimeter, half millimeter to a millimeter. Some of the ones that I use when I'm making like this guy, when I'm
Sriharsha, we can't see anything.
Okay, got it. So you need to get a little closer, I guess.
Or move the camera in a different way, please. Sorry.
Okay, hang on. Let me fix that one. Hang on. No, that's fine. I just need to pin this video. Is this video pin this one? Because I think pin this one, right? Yeah. Okay. Hang on. So maybe I can use a zoom lens.
Yeah.
Huh? Let's try and show this camera.
Yeah, I told them.
It's pinned, right?
So this one.
Remove pin. So this is pinned. Vishaka, which screen are you seeing right now?
So this are,
I'm seeing you and Psychic.
Okay, hang on. So that's wrong.
Because she's pointing at things, I think, and we don't see anything. Right? Shelly's pointing at something or the other.
And so it's the wrong one. Remove pin, right? Okay. Now I need to go here. Oh, this one.
You don't want to start.
There was an option for spotlight.
If you're trying to just
okay. Where's that one?
Not in probably spotlight.
Okay.
Spotlight for everyone. Yeah, should be good.
Yes, we see her now.
Okay, but I need to change the hang on. I think the audio should come from there too, right?
Yeah, it would be.
I know it's being recorded, but there was nothing that we could see. Now we can see Shelly. But we can't hear her.
The diameter.
Are you able to hear now?
A little bit, not too well though.
And that'll set the diameter, and then I pull from there, and it stays that same diameter.
Wow.
How does it remain so straight, like the side?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, so it's timing, having the right amount of the timing, and then pulling it to the right until the thinner.
Yeah, it's better now.
Faster it cools. So once it's cooling, I can get it stretched out, and then I
better now.
Hold it until it's perfect.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, now if she holds something closer, can you see it?
Oh, I can see her. Yeah. Yes, I can see the beautiful bead.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
So, what we were talking about before was the different diameters of stringers. So I brought some of I call these my fat stringers. If you can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the on this one, like the little fence that's in this bead in the bottom, the stringers for that are about the size of a piece of your hair. So they're really, really tiny. So, and that's what I use to do a lot of the drawing on the silhouette beads. Those little tiny pieces. And I was gonna try and bring one, but they break really easily. So I figured they would just be tiny little pieces.
Okay. What are the strings made of?
So they're pulled down from the glass. So the glass comes in different colors of rods, and then to make a stringer, I basically heat up a small amount of glass. So I might to pull this stringer, I might heat up, just a little bit, like a pea-sized amount of glass, and then I pinch it with the tweezers, like these guys. So I might pinch it with the tweezers, and then I'll pull it out into the diameter that I want it to be. And that's how I get the little stringers.
Wow.
But you can pull it as thin as the hair.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Shelly.
Yeah. So
I have a question.
Yeah, Shelly, you said you can make it long. So pea size becomes that long, like you put your hands wide and
that long? To make the really fine stringers that I do the drawing with on the silhouette beads, I just take it's a really small amount of glass, and then I pull it out, and it gets to be, like a hair or 2 hairs thick. Wow. To do the drawing on the beads.
Oh, wow. That's lovely. We should come to your studio someday if you allow that.
Yes, I do. You should come to the EVA Christmas party. I'll do demos.
There you go.
Yeah. Is it going to happen this December?
Yes. This December.
Okay. Hadi, you have to tell us. You have to remind us to go. Yeah. Hadi will remind us to go.
Follow my Facebook.
There you go.
Yeah, follow your Facebook.
Yes, I will do that. Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm sorry I couldn't come today, but I'm really curious.
Yeah, well, I'd love to have you come up. And then, so one of the other things that's important about shaping the glass is different materials. So steel. So the shaping tools usually come in either graphite, which is, just like old pencil lead, or they might be brass, like these little mashers, which are my favorites. And they can also be stainless steel. And the reason for the different types of metal or types of tools is some of them will stick to metal and some of them won't. So graphite doesn't stick to hot metal. So I have graphite tweezers that I use if I don't want, like when I'm applying things into the glass, if I don't want them to stick, I use a graphite marver to like roll the glass on, and then the glass won't stick. So if I want to move the glass into a specific way or a specific position, I either use brass, like these shapers, kind of spread the glass out into that rounded shape, or I might use, this little brass, it's called a stump shaper, and to be able to push the glass around into different shapes. If it's not where I want it, I can push it with the brass, whereas the graphite, it kind of slides over, so it's more for rolling and shaping that way.
But it doesn't still stick to the brass?
If you leave it long enough, it'll stick. So the brass is kind of sticky, I guess is the best way to put it. You can push with it and move the glass, whereas the graphite, you can roll on it, but it won't push the glass, it just slides.
There's no traction for that. Yeah.
So
exactly.
So what do you do if it starts sticking to the brass? I mean,
pull it off in water. Just quench it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't usually let it get hot enough. I mean, like when I'm shaping a bead, so like this bead, it was shaped in here, right? So it's just really a quick motion. I'll mash it, turn it, mash it. Obviously not with my fingers, but it's just a kind of, you don't put it on there and hold it. It's kind of just a quick touching motion to move the glass where you want it to go.
And then,
can let it spray with WD-4 and then
WD-40 and you want to stick?
Maybe, I'll let you try.
WD-40 is flammable.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would probably be bad.
Yeah.
Some silicone-based ones, so it takes the higher temperature probably.
There you go.
So the graphite, it's literally just a block of graphite, huh?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah,
I
and
think it would be brittle. I mean,
it's fragile. It's definitely fragile. If you
drops,
drop it,
probably,
Yeah.
if you drop it, it's very sad.
Yeah.
And they're all different kinds of shapes. Like people have ones that have specific shapes and textures cut into them that they roll their beads on. You can get all sorts of different tools. Some people love their tools. Kind of stay minimalist.
Where do you buy the raw materials from? I mean, about the
So
glass
there's
and the
three major glass. Well, in the glass type I use, there's three major manufacturers. There's FALC, which is an Italian glass manufacturer. Creation is Messy, which is designed in the US, but manufactured in China. And then there's a brand called Double Helix, which is silver glass. And those are made in the US, and most of their glass has a lot of silver content and does some kind of wild and crazy shiny things in their beads. And then there's some other smaller ones, but those are the three big ones.
So you can't just get on Dick Look and order up a bunch of glass.
No, sadly, I can't go to Joann's either.
Yeah.
But there are distributors in the US. So like I buy most of my glass from a company called Franz Art Glass. They're in someplace in Washington. And they're the big distributor for FALC, which is what I use mostly.
It makes sense since Seattle and Tacoma are like the centers of the art glass.
Yeah. Yeah. Someday.
I see.
And then otherwise I use, some different things that I put into my beads or on my beads. So I know some of you were looking at the wave beads, which is the one we're gonna see. You're gonna see the demo of one of them. And so I use these, they're so called Marini, and these are mostly made by another artist. But they're like little chips that already have textures and colors on the sides of them. And I use those on some of my beads. And then I didn't bring any fish, but I also get some of the stuff that goes in my aquariums, like these little tiny fish.
That's really amazing.
Amazing how they.
So I make some
Wow.
of the stuff is drawn on like the jellyfish I do by hand, but the little clownfish I buy from another artist because her clownfish look way better than mine.
And they're glass too.
Yeah, they're made out of the same glass. And they start out big, like about this big, and then they get pulled down into the little tiny fish that you see.
Huh.
Oh, is it like they make like a string and then break it off? And
Yep.
that's-
Oh,
Exactly.
So it's a
Right.
fish shaped like a.
It's a fish string, yeah, and then they cut it
And then
into
they
little
just cut it.
pieces.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I use a lot of fine silver, which you can see that it's like a really thin wire, like 30 gauge fine silver. And that makes the little dots like
Oh, yeah.
you see on here, like the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
That's from the silver wire.
Wow.
How do you embed that one? How do you embed that? What stage do you embed that one? Then they can drop.
So you can do it one of two ways. You can either heat it and then you kind of attach one end of the silver and then you kind of lay it down onto the bead and get it hot as a wire. And then when you put it back into the heat, it falls up into little balls.
Huh.
Oh, it curls up into the ball.
Yeah, the heat will cause silver to its happiest state when it's hot is a ball. So it'll ball up.
So it melts into it. Oh,
Yeah,
melts
solder,
into
yeah.
it.
Some like solder, yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
What was that question?
No, I'm saying that it melts and gets into it.
Yes,
Into the
it
bead.
melts and then it kind of fuses with the glass. And then I also use silver foil, which is just a little.
So is that the rod that we saw, the shiny one in the silver?
No, that is the dichroic, sparkly one.
Yes.
The dichroic. The dichroic is clear glass, and then it has a chemical put on one side of it. This one's been texturized first before the chemical was applied. But they put two-tone colors on them, so I don't know if you can see. It's like a purpley and a bluey color. So the dichroics are always kind of two color tones. Yeah, so sparkly and fun. My favorite. I may have a little bit of that.
But different objects are at different depths, so you kind of build it one at a time, or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so they're built up in layers, and kind of any of them, like the water on these is built in, in layers. So if you can see there, you know, there's base color, there's some dichroic on top, and then there's a blue,
lighter and darker blues. Yeah. Very pretty.
And then like these guys are made, starts on a base of white glass. And then you know, that I was talking about the hair fine stringers. This has got, you know, just a whole bunch of little strings of glass laid over the top of it. And then
so you're actually drawing thin glass.
Yeah. And
well,
so
the gradient what you create is actually the stringers.
Yeah.
So one at a time. Okay.
Yeah. And for these, I actually don't pull them and then use them. I kind of, they're being pulled as I'm applying them, because I can just spin the bead and pull the stringers onto them. Yeah, but they're like really fast spin. And then there's clear over the top of that, and then the drawing on top of it. So it gives you those kind of the layers.
It's a sunset layer, right? So it's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's made by blending the colors, the different colors. It's 3 colors, but the pink and yellow overlap to, you know, make orange, and the blue and pink. Not as much in that one, but can overlap to make the purple color as well.
As it also kind of gives a shifted feeling that something is really at the depth.
Really a 3D effect.
Yeah, 3D effect.
Or 2.5D or something.
Something.
This is already a 3D object.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like them to have a lot of different depths and layers, and just, you know, more to, it kind of, I feel like it pulls you in more than you can apply those same colors just flat, right? And then but I don't feel like it has as much depth that way.
How about the aquarium? How do they embed the fish inside that layer?
Yeah, so really very similar. It has a base layer. The kind of teal color is in the inside, and then the little seaweed and stuff is kind of drawn on, and then the fish go on, and they get encased in clear glass. So it's just lots and lots of layers. Yeah.
So I can see some small bubbles in there. Is that like intentional, or?
Some of them are, and some of them are just the nature of the glass. When you're encasing it, you're taking, you know, one of these, one reading go. So you're taking, you know, a little object that's sticking out, kind of poking out of the bead, right? And then, so it's, you know, it's poking out, right? And then you've got to take glass, which is kind of the consistency of maybe honey when it's hot, and you have to get that to kind of go around and fill in all those gaps. So sometimes you get bubbles. Yeah. I think it's a feature.
Yeah, it's a great feature.
They look very cute.
Yeah. And some people do make bubbles on purpose. They poke a hole and then cover them up, and
that's true.
Then they get a bubble. Yeah.
I would think it would be hard as you apply successive layers of like the clear glass. It would be hard to make sure that you can't see the division between the layers, you know, to make sure that they effectively fuse together completely instead of retaining a layer look.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And it takes time to learn to blend the glass, like the clear, when you're putting the clear over the color, if you can get the bubbles, right? If you don't have a nice join, if your glass isn't hot enough. But also if it doesn't overlap, the colors from underneath will come out and kind of, Vesuvius out onto the top of your nice clear. So
Shelly, can you go back and add to a bead after it's cold, or you have to do everything while it's hot?
It's possible, but it's not very often successful. You have to put it back on the mandrel, and then kind of slowly heat it up in the kiln to about 1,000 degrees. And then you have to pull that hot mandrel out of the kiln and quench the mandrel in some water to cool that off so you can hold on to it without cracking the bead. Yeah, and then you have to really slowly heat it up in the flame. And mostly I just make a new bead.
Okay, so it's better to do it. It's better to do it in one sitting. The whole picture has to be done.
There's not much going back.
Okay.
So you come up with an idea what you want to do, and you arrange everything on the table.
Yep.
In one sitting, you just layer it, and then.
Yeah, mostly I'll work on one type of bead each day. So I might sit down and make all aquarium beads. I might do, moon beads one day, and whatever different type of bead, I'll just do that same kind of bead because I'll have all the tools out. But you're asking about the glass layers, so that's how I make on this one. It's got like these little ribs. Yeah. And that's intentionally letting the layer of glass that's on the bottom come up out through the layers of glass that are on the top.
Oh.
So it makes those.
It's a different effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many beads do you make at a time? About.
It depends on the day, but I usually probably make, I don't know, maybe 12 to 20 beads in a day.
Wow.
If I'm having if I have a lot of time and I'm really focusing. Some beads I can make, in 15 minutes. Some beads take an hour. So, it really varies depending on what I'm making.
Depends on the intricacy. Yeah. It depends on the intricacy of the work. And
yes, exactly.
Whether it's a repeat, because just like in painting, if you do the same kind of thing, you can do it fast. If you're experimenting, it can take forever.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like my first aquarium bead, I think took me a couple of hours to make a very simple one. So yeah.
So you said that the underlying layer came out after it started.
Yeah. So it's if you kind of look in the hole, you see that it's like a light blue inside. So it started out with a light blue. It started out with a light blue glass, and then I put layers of transparent over the top, but leaving just a tiny gap between those layers so that the light blue underneath gets pulled up. When you melt it in, it pulls that bottom layer out into the top of the transparent. That's how it makes the little ribs.
I see.
Yeah.
Feels
like a volcanic process,
I once saw a glass blowing glass, like when they were making like glasses and bowls and jars. Is it like similar?
On a much smaller scale.
Yeah, much smaller. Yeah, because they have like a big thing going on.
Yeah, so they take their glass. That kind of glass. They'll have a base color in a big big tub basically.
Yeah, so they have this blob, and then they touch it,
and they add color to it, right? Yeah. So, so I work with rods that already have color in them. Right. But it's
the base itself is color.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of my colors kind of come pre-chosen, so to speak. Yeah, and sometimes I mix colors or, and layer them to get different effects and different colors. But yeah, it's the same it's the same thing, right? Same type of glass. Yeah. Yeah.
You just put it in the heat and take it out.
Yep.
Keep it rotating.
Keep it rotating. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
There's no blowing involved.
Well, there can be, but mostly no.
And you need a kiln, so you go to a place where there's a kiln already.
Sure, it has that.
You have it in the house.
Yeah, so mine's a much smaller scale, right? So my kiln is about this big.
So she has like a video.
It doesn't have, it's not a furnace.
Yeah. So my glass doesn't come out of a, it doesn't
Yeah.
come out of a furnace.
Yeah. It doesn't.
No, I melt it with a torch.
So I guess most of the technique you developed yourself, like,
Most of them. I did
Yeah.
learn the fine stringers. I learned how to do that from someone else. I learned, I have any of the flowers. I make some flower beads that they look like petals inside the glass. And
Okay.
I learned that technique from someone else.
Wow.
But the moons and the
Sometimes you
aquariums.
have to use fakes.
What's that?
Sometimes
Yeah,
you have to
exactly.
use fakes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
You know,
all of a
that's
sudden you say, oh wow, that looks
That's
cool.
that's a good point. So these my moon beads, I recently started putting trees on them. I don't know if you can see the trees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the trees were a happy mistake because around the beads, I used these little stringers that are ivory with silver wrapped around them. And one day, one of my little stringers went the wrong way and went straight up the bead. And I went, well, shoot. And then I went, well, that kind of looks like a tree.
Yeah.
So I melted it in and manipulated it a little bit. And now I have trees. So that was my happy accident.
I had done a class where you do plates.
Oh yeah, fuse glass.
Fuse glass.
Yes, that's fun.
But it was in San Jose, it was too far.
Yeah.
You give lessons?
I do. I teach at Bay Area Glass Institute. And
Baggy.
Baggy. That's where
in
you went
San
for the
Jose.
fuse. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's where I went.
So I teach there, and then I also do some kind of short experience classes at Maker Nexus, which is in Santa Clara. So a little bit closer to you
That's
guys.
closer.
Yeah.
Because the place where San Jose, I
Yeah.
remember that's not a very good neighborhood.
No.
One night I got out and I panicked and went on a wrong way, and the
Oh,
cops were waiting, there was a
then
group
you were
of-
in the sketchy part
I
of
was
San
like,
Jose. Yeah,
I
it's not the best
It's
neighborhood.
not, and it gets dark.
History Park.
History Park?
Yeah,
Well, it was a very novice driving.
but if you go the wrong
10
way
minutes.
from History Park, you're
Yes.
kind of in the
I'm in the wrong direction.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in the wrong direction on the road, and the cops were just waiting there because there were some kids doing some hanky panky there already.
Yeah.
So there's some drug dealing there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some.
I saw Santa Clara sounds a much better.
Yeah.
That sound itself, but
After that one class, never been.
Never went back. Yeah. So at Maker Nexus, there's four glass teachers there,
Oh,
and we all teach kind of different things. And then it's a maker space, so there's woodworking, there's metalworking, there's 3D printers, there's quilting machines. So they've got like all the big tools that you could think of that you don't want to have in your house.
yeah, right.
They have them.
Because I live in Santa Clara and I haven't heard about it.
No, never.
It's on I think it's one of the Google campuses.
Really?
But it's like I don't know how to describe it.
it's a 1330
Oh, but-
apartments. No,
Yeah.
that's Sunnyvale.
Oh, is it Sunnyvale? Not Santa Clara.
Yeah, Sunny
Is it
Santa
a place?
Clara is kind of
Maker Nexus, it's called.
Maker Nexus, yeah.
I wonder, did the stuff
It's
in there
coming
maybe
up
used to be
as
part of, what was it called? It used to be a business. And they had all these big machines and things, and for like a monthly fee, you could come in and either learn how to use the things or just come in and use them. And it was intended for people so they didn't have to go buy all this equipment and fill up their garage at home. They could just go there and do this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, but they lost the lease on the place they had, and
They went away.
it all went away.
Yeah, there's been a few of them in San Jose. My son actually found this one. He was looking for a specific machine, and he's like, "Hey, they have glass too."
Yeah, I gotta go check this out. That sounds
Yeah.
really interesting.
Maybe as a group we can go. It might be a nice
Get a
outfit.
tour.
Yeah.
Get a tour, yeah.
Yeah, you guys tell me when you're gonna go, I can meet you there and.
They had one in like, Menlo Park, and they had one in San Jose, and I remember my husband and I went and visited both of them, and they were, you know, and they even had things like what do they call it? It's a cutter, but it cuts with water jets. And it was incredible, you know,
Yeah.
you get these little fine
Yeah,
cutout things done with water.
Hydrogen, yeah.
yeah, I know we have laser CNCs, I don't know about the water one.
Yeah, it was a water scene.
Yeah, water
All
sciences.
Yeah,
kinds of stuff.
yeah, it's.
It's fascinating. Maybe you want to just go sign up just to play with
Yeah,
all
try
that.
to get to know the
right?
tools.
Yeah.
I'm dying to find some time to go learn how to use the quilting machine. Like it's, you know,
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how long they are, like 8 foot long and
Yeah.
poke the holes, but.
Yeah.
Toys. Somebody else's toys. Well, do you
So at what
wanna,
point should I run the video or?
yeah, do you
Yeah.
wanna do
Okay.
one of the videos and then I'll can maybe talk a little bit about how
We have to gather
how the
that.
process
Yeah, I
goes.
think you gotta gather. Yeah. I've had to, oh yeah, I can. Remove the
Oh,
font
okay.
I have to remove the spotlight and then I come back here. One moment. First one is type 4 of the silhouette.
Maybe typo.
Yeah, we have
How much time do we have?
half an hour, so
Okay.
divide around. We don't have artists of the month, so we probably could run in 8:45. Yeah, okay.
Well,
So
it's-
10 minutes each, 10 to 15 minutes each, is it okay?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I know the type, the silhouette one is less than 10 minutes.
But you'll be talking over, so we may
Yeah.
pass the video for a while and then, yeah.
Yeah.
Run that.
Tech Shop, that's what it was called. I was trying to remember the name of it. It was called Tech Shop.
I don't know if they're around anymore.
No, they're not.
They went
Just
away.
like I say, they lost the lease on the work. They had like a big warehouse space that they managed to get.
Yeah.
All this stuff in there. And that was the only reason it fizzled, because they couldn't find another place to take all this equipment to.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a great business model going where, like I say, it was like you could pay by the month or have a subscription. They
Yep.
had classes to teach
Now
you how
I
to use
make
all this
this
stuff.
screen
Yeah.
accessible
That's
to
what
everyone,
makes
right?
sense.
You can see
That's
it.
cool.
Yes.
You can see
I
it.
can see it. We can see it.
Okay, what do we need to do? Okay, I need to run it. Okay.
This is
There's
beautiful.
no voice in this one, so she probably need to talk about it. Let me know when you want to
Yeah.
pause it.
Yeah. So this
Oh,
is
wow.
just some of the silhouette beads, and because the stringers are really hard to see on the smaller ones, I had made this one has a little bit thicker stringers, so that you can kind of see a little bit better what I'm gonna be doing in the torch. Still going?
Nice photograph of that one too.
I
so-
think it has, the video has stopped at 14 seconds.
Yeah, we paused it, Vishaka.
Oh,
So
okay.
that we could talk about it. Yeah, I purposely paused it. I'm gonna run it right now.
So this one's gonna start with, I kind of made the bead already, and you can see I'm putting the stringer on, and it's pretty small, but not the hair fine ones. You can see off to the left side there, some of those hair fine stringers are over there.
Oh, wow.
But I'm just kind of making a branch, and I wanted to kind of have the feeling of being in the tree or the bird in the tree with this one. So I kind of was focusing in, like, you know, you were zooming in on the bird in the tree. So you'll see a little bit of the branches around the bird and the silhouette of the bird, but you know, not the whole tree in this one. So when you're drawing with glass, at least the silhouettes, it's more about making a shape. So you're going to see here, I'm going to put the glass on, and it goes pretty quickly, but it kind of doubles back and then triples back on top of itself. You see it folds over and then it goes back again.
It's like trying to draw with honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of making a little pyramid, and then I heat it up, and then I can press it in with a cool tool, and it's gonna make the bird's body shape, which you can kind of see in there. And then I'm gonna put another little dot on there for the head. But it's a lot about, with the silhouettes, it's a lot about manipulating the glass once it's already on the bead. So you kind of put it on a specific way and then use heat and gravity to move the glass around to make the shape. And then you'll see I'm kind of heating the whole bead, and that's just to keep it from getting shocked. And so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull just a little beak out of that head. And that's just, you know, manipulating the glass. And then I went out of screen because I was blowing on the glass to cool it off so I could get it to come off without distorting the little bird's head. I think you can see in a second, you can see the bird a little bit better.
There's no erasing if you make a mistake either, huh?
Not much, no. I mean, you'll see a little bit of erasing later.
Here.
Yeah, so you can see the little bird in there.
That's all because of you shape that drop of string. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna you have to kind of shape it with the heat and the gravity to get the glass to go the kind of in the shape and direction that you want it to.
Okay, and then once you heat it, it will stick back to the substrate.
Yeah, yeah, it'll stick onto the bead, and then you saw I was using a little tool to kind of tap it in because that's I had the shape that I wanted, and I didn't want to lose the shape, so I was pressing it into the glass so that it wouldn't spread out anymore.
Okay, but you also keep rotating the whole thing and keeping it hot. So is there a reason why?
Yeah, you have to keep it hot or it'll crack. It's got a really high coefficient of expansion and contraction. And so if it gets too cold, the glass will literally just crack now.
Temperature gradient between the hot side and the cool side.
Yeah, so you have to
if it all cools everything together, then it's no problem.
Yeah, so if everything is the same temperature, it's fine. But if I let that back part get cool and then it gets in the heat again, then it'll crack.
Makes sense.
So it's all about keeping it all warm and happy in the same temperature. So then here's some of that finer stringer. I'm just drawing on some like little tiny branches onto it. And it's almost like I get the bead warm and just lay the glass on and it just kind of flows onto the glass.
Is this the process you were trying to demo here outside? Is this exactly one?
I was gonna do the wave bead.
Okay.
The fine stringer would be a little bit too wobbly in all the air.
Yeah, no, we saw it.
Yeah, I would think even just the slightest little breeze would send it all over the place.
Yep.
It's that fine.
Do you control the humidity in your workshop, or how does it work?
I don't really control the humidity because I have the door cracked open to for cross ventilation. I just need to not be in the rain. I do try to control the temperature a little bit because if it's too cold, then I have trouble heating the rods up in the flame. They can break if they're too cold. So here I'm just putting on some little dots, and you see that stringer is stuck to my bench. It doesn't want to come up. So I'm just giving the dots I put on a little bit of heat so they don't pop off. But then I've got a little bit thicker stringer, which is about half the diameter of the ones that I was showing you guys, maybe a third. But I'm just doing some little dots, and then once I heat those in, I'll be able to pull them into a leaf shape. And I do that with I'm going to use that same stringer just to kind of pull on them and to shape them, and that way I don't get marks in the glass from using. I could do it with a tool as well, but it would leave little dents in the glass, which I'd have to go back and fix later. So I like to just use the hot stringer of the same color.
Are you working in your garage?
This is, I have a little studio that's
At home?
it's like the size of a shed, but it's been made nice inside.
But it's separate from the.
Yeah.
You work in fire.
Yeah, well, and oxygen and propane and
Yeah, that's why I decided not to try anything more.
Yeah.
I live up in,
You need a small
in a
ADU.
wooded area.
Yeah.
So you can't have an open fire anywhere.
no open fire. Exactly.
A small ADU probably.
So right here, I'm gonna, we were talking about erasing. I'm gonna pull, there's like a little dot that I didn't like, and I just pulled it up, and then you'll see I'm gonna take a tool, the glass has been, and I'm just knock it off.
Oh.
That's kind of how you erase stuff. You
So
with the clear encasing, I can erase, if there's small mistakes, I can pull the glass off. It'll smooth back down.
when it's white hot, it reminds me of Japanese springtime. The black and white, the black and white flowers on top of it.
Yeah. So they are just, again, making sure the whole bead has got some heat. So it's all happy.
So you don't have an issue with the bead like slipping off of the rod that you're holding on when you're doing this?
I mean, you can, it does happen, but it's held on, and so then I think here, I'm gonna show. There's the finished beads. So those are the little hair fine stringers, the little branches. But it's a steel rod, and then I dip it in a it's called bead release, but it's basically clay. And then that allows it, once it's cooled off, I can wiggle it off of the mandrel and clean the clay out of the hole.
Oh, so the rod is dipped in the clay first, and then you put
and then the glass goes on top of the clay. Yeah.
I thought it made of graphite, so it doesn't stick into it. But apparently he needs the sticking first.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah. Someone tried that, but but it never really take off.
Yeah, no, it doesn't stick that way.
And in some countries, when they make their beads, they make them on brass mandrels, and then they cut it and they use a chemical to dissolve the mandrel and the brass out. Yeah, that's what I said. I prefer the clay.
Yeah.
Go back into my garden.
Yeah.
This is very intricate work.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the beads.
Does it take to get that? Yeah, I have to go around.
So I've been making beads for about 10 years. And I think it took me until 6 or 7 years before I could work with the really tiny stringers.
And you're giving away all your little trade secrets.
There you go.
You have to have all those tools.
Do you put a clear coat on top of this or is it this is the final product of this?
So that's the final. So it's white glass and then blue transparent, and then I put the little black ends on it.
Okay.
And then it's covered in clear. Like this guy.
Okay, so you're gonna put one more clear on top of this one.
The clear is under the decorations.
Oh,
under
it's
the
on
film.
underneath.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's what gives me the ability to take some of the glass off.
Yeah.
The clear layer gives you a little bit of flexibility to fix little mistakes.
It also kind of gives separation from the blue one in the back. So
yeah, some of them you can see, like you can even see a shadow from the black drawings onto the base bead.
Oh, there's a clear glass in between and then a little translucent blue
there's
on the back.
Yeah, so you'll see a little shadow.
oh, great.
Yeah. So,
Is there a particular theme you pick up for your work, or what kind of thing goes in when picking up subjects?
mostly a lot of it's what I see, it's like, when you're out looking around. So in my backyard, there's a fence and you can see the sunset from the backyard, and there are always these little birds sitting on the fence at sunset, right? And then the moonscape ones are kind of inspired by the redwoods. we have redwoods out and you can, you see the moon and the redwoods and that'd make it pretty neat.
Yeah.
So a lot of that. And then the aquarium's just, love the ocean.
Yeah.
This is the one you mentioned.
Yeah, that's the flower.
If you just did this, a big one becomes that waste, right? I had a colleague who quit high tech and went and made these big pieces.
Yeah, big glass
He
pieces.
was very, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money.
But then you need the big furnace and
Yeah.
then you need to go to
He
packing.
was very wealthy already. That's why he quit.
That's why I quit.
That's why he quit. She was studying marketing and quit and did this. I mean, he did very well.
You have to have a place to store them and a way to transport them. And
Then you have to do the marketing,
Yeah.
sell them. Yeah.
So is this your full-time job?
I would say it's mostly full-time.
If you like something, that's your full-time job.
Right.
Even though you do only 10% of your job.
I don't need another job, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. You like it, even though you do 10% of your whole day, that's your job.
I take that one back there to school and back and.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, that's
She's sitting on the top.
oh, I didn't see that.
Oh.
Oh, it's an octopus.
the bear.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Okay, let's maybe Vishaka is interested.
Uh-huh.
Let me bring the up here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they can see.
Looks like a Rudraksh.
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly. But there is an
frog.
octopus on top of it.
Octopus on the bead. Ooh, it looks
Yeah.
like a Rudraksh for some reason. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Creative, very creative.
Very intriguing. The stringer is the octopus's legs. Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 layers or so.
10
maybe
layers
leg.
of wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna get closer to the people who are on the, so excuse me.
I just did a little Christmas.
Okay, hang on. Let me get you close to the bead box up here. So okay, the kids are having candy.
Be very careful not to drop.
Eye candy. Lots of
Yeah.
eye candy.
Eye candy.
Look at how much depth there is to that. All the layers.
I purchased a glass pen recently off of Amazon.
A glass
Off of
what?
Amazon.
A glass pen?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it helps you dip and then you paint with it.
Ah.
Oh, this one has a little gem on it.
That's a little tiny cubic zirconia.
So did you do this with the
Oh,
paint
a
one?
little star.
So
That
that,
pull them all together in
Yeah.
the end.
yeah.
But how did you get this like the ripple thing?
So it's, if you take
Oh.
2 colors and
Oh, even little rays.
put stripes
I know.
of the color, and then you twist it and pull it into like a twisted stringer.
Oh.
And that one's made with a silver glass that kind of changes color depending on how much heat you put on it. So that's how you get all the
Oh.
variation in it.
That looks so.
Look at that octopus. There
It's almost like a pour.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a paint
Yeah.
pour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, do you put your signature on any of these?
No, but I'm working on a signature stamp so that I
Okay.
can. Yeah. But I have to
Okay,
carve it out of some brass so I can press it
Right.
on there.
right,
Yeah.
right. Press it on there.
Yep. I tried making a Marini one of my logo, but it's like doesn't hold up because my logo is this little swirly doodad.
Oh.
So I tried to make one of these Marinis with those, but
Yeah.
didn't quite translate.
Is it the flower petal you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
flower petals.
So how much does one sell for? Like a big one.
So the moon tree ones are like 35. These are 25 to 30, and the aquariums go up to anywhere from 65 to 95, depending on how intricate they are.
So how do you sell on Etsy or?
I do have an Etsy shop, but mostly I sell it in Facebook groups. So there are all these groups where people go to buy
really?
handmade, artisan-made beads. Yeah, and so I would say 90% of my sales are in those Facebook groups, which is nice.
What are they called?
There's a bunch of different ones. So I sell in Lampork Bazaar and Handmade Bead Bazaar. What's the other one? Glass Open Market. If you go on my website, I usually post on there whenever I'm going to have a Facebook show.
So it's not Facebook Marketplace, it's a different thing altogether.
A Facebook show.
Yeah. Yeah. So in these groups, they let people have basically 2 days where they are the only ones that post in the group. So, and then some of them are kind of open where anybody can post. But usually I do the ones where I'll have 2 days where I just put my beads up.
That is such.
So I missed asking you, so how did you make this one, the flower one? So the flower starts out as a small little donut, and then I put dots of, so that one, for example, is dots of a really light gray color. And then each of the colors is 2 different transparent colors dotted on top of the gray. Then the dots are heated in, and I take a razor blade and crease them. And then I put the clear transparent over the top of them. And that when you heat the transparent, it pulls the petals into that, pulls it into the petal shape.
Oh.
Do you have a card?
Thank you. I have more EBA cards than I have my own cards.
Oh, can I have one too?
Yeah, I get it. Those are all failures.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that movie Moana.
Oh,
Right? She has that pendant. Yeah.
Really pendant.
Yeah.
Disney would come after me if I put that in.
Oh, yeah.
Shut that as he's like, no. Yeah, how do you say Moana without saying Moana?
Yeah, because like the color and the design, especially this one.
Yeah.
Take a picture of people looking at this pool.
Oh, it's a little- I keep looking at it, I keep seeing new things I didn't see before.
I took some.
You took some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at documenting all the
Yeah.
nice things that happen. So, see? Yeah, I'll take one. Thank you. You are not in the picture. It's okay.
So much variety.
So one of my favorite things when I go do shows in person is I make a lot of bead of this shape, and I usually wear a ring that has one of these on it, right? And my favorite question that I get at least once a show is, how do you get the rock smooth enough to paint on it?
Yeah.
I was noticing that some of like this, for example, it really looks like agate.
Yes, yeah,
It really looks like it would be agate.
Yeah.
that was the goal. And that's just
I'm
mixing.
sorry, what's an agate?
It's a type of rock that has a lot of striations in it
Okay.
like that.
I see.
And those layers are, so there's two different ways there. There is a glass called agate that has a lot of that in it.
Okay.
But you can also just kind of
But you made it.
put little just different stringers of the colors and yeah, because they'll make these fancy specific colors, but then they'll make them and then never make them again. So if you fall in love with it and you don't know how to make it yourself, then you're out that color.
There must be Costco.
Yeah. Yes. You know, you get them once and then never again.
Never again.
Yeah. One of the manufacturers called Creation is Messy. They're famous for that. They'll do like a limited run of something and then you can never get it again. And then 2 years later, somebody will have bought 5 pounds of it and then they'll go sell it for 5 times what they bought it for. Yeah. So I try to stick with basic colors. And then when I do find one like that I love, then I figure out what's in it.
Yeah.
So the trees and the candy canes and these icicles is one of the classes I'm going to teach at Maker Nexus. It's like a little 3-hour experience. You can come and try it out.
So cool.
This one, Hari, and this one.
So this is all like one piece, right? The loop and everything is just one piece of glass.
Yeah, it's one piece. It's got color a little bit of color layered on the outside.
Yeah.
That was actually one of them I was going to do if we were going to be outside because it's kind of a quick, easy one. Yeah. But I'll put it on YouTube. You guys can see it on YouTube.
Yeah. That will be lots of people following you. So.
So fun, right? Yeah. A little tiny piece.
This is not something you want to watch from Zoom.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
You gotta be there.
Can appreciate.
See the details.
Yeah.
Come on. Are people on Zoom listening?
They've all checked.
Yeah,
they're still there. They're still there.
I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm watching you all watch the beads.
Yeah.
Watching them play with the beads.
Yeah.
Can't believe that it's glass wood. It's like a polished stone, right? Huh? Yeah, I know.
How did you do this one?
So that one is these little marinis melted flat.
Oh, okay. And that's how it's spread out.
Yeah, and then it spreads out.
Oh, it's just like the little canes like they make Millefiori glass from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just little millies.
Yeah.
And then I just let them melt in however they wanted to go. And then I put some silver over the top because it's on a white base. It's white.
Oh, yeah.
But the silver makes it go that yummy sandy color.
And since the silver is inside the glass, you don't have to worry about it tarnishing over time.
Yeah. Nope.
No,
it stays all shiny. Not so far.
Yeah.
So the only thing that happened is it might crack. That's the only thing.
It could. I mean, it's glass.
Yeah.
You could drop it on cement and it could crack or chip. Yeah.
But otherwise, the color and everything that will never fade or nothing will happen.
Right. Yeah. 5,000 years from now, it'll still be the same color.
So this is 22 minutes.
Oh, is it? Is it too long?
Too long.
Too long.
I may have to run this comment. It's bad.
Just send it to, can you send it on what messenger?
It's too big. It's too 3 gigabytes.
You can't.
So.
It's
Yeah, let's rub it to it.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
You can just fast forward it.
You could just fast forward it. It'll just it'll be fine.
Vishaka, we have one more video coming up, so hang in tight. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. So this is a 22 minutes thing, but I think I'm going to run it every 30 seconds up, so it's going to be fast. I will let her talk about it.
Oh, wow.
I'll jump ahead 30 seconds.
So you can see in there, that's the clay that on the end of the stick, that's clay.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that all hot before you put the glass on.
Huh. So it's not just any clay, it's special,
very specific
for this purpose.
Yeah. And there's a few different kinds. I use one called Dip and Go Blue Sludge. I think I might just like the name of it. So that's what the marber, it's rolling it on the marber.
Do the second layer.
Yep. And then I'm gonna add, so this is like a sand color. It's like this. This is the one I'm putting on now. It's called sandstone. And it kind of, it's an ivory based color, but it kind of craggles up when you get it hot, and that gives you the little striations in the glass. And there's a few different ones that are fun to play with. There's one that has like a periwinkle in it, and it gives you kind of a blue hint tone in the when it gets hot. So here I'm just putting the layers of the glass on. And the thing of this bead, the base layer was a silver glass. So I'm putting some clear over it, and it'll give it kind of that iridescent, the shimmer, like, and this bead has that shimmery stuff that's from silver glass. Excuse me. Forgot what about it. And then I'm just gonna put some different blues and teals and aquas over the top of it to give it more depth.
You clear the gap between the two now?
Yeah, so those two, the kind of clear on top and the sand color on the bottom, I'll just heat right in that gap and they'll come together. So the glass will always go wherever the heat is. So you can use the heat of the flame to pull the glass in different directions. And then you can also use gravity to get it to go in different places as well. Oh, excuse me, I forgot my water bucket.
This is a water bucket. I don't have any cups.
Excuse me.
I noticed the work. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, when you flatten it into one of those flattened sleeves, you place it down.
So you can flatten it, on your bench, like with a marber. But I find that I have better control over the shape because when I flatten mine, I'm holding it like this and the bead's facing me, and I can look down into the tongs, and then I can see, where the shape is going. And then I can, turn the bead different directions just to get it into the right shape. Otherwise, you can end up with too much glass on one side versus the other side.
I noticed the work surface, it stays really clean. You never have trouble like overshooting on the heat so that it ends up dripping on the surface.
Sometimes,
Oh, okay.
yes, yes.
The patient,
But I tend to clean my bench off every day when I'm done. Or if I don't have time to do it when I'm done, I'll clean it off the next day before I start, because then I'll do a different kind of bead and I'll want different glass out. And like the little tiny stringers, you don't want those laying around in your bench, because they can embed into your skin.
Yeah.
So you're planning to give a lesson in bead making anytime in the future?
Yeah, so I'm doing some classes at Makers Nexus, and then I have a class on the 18th or 19th of this month at Baggy, and we'll be doing the little moon guys. We do moons, or we're doing seascapes. I can't remember. We did one already, and we're doing the other one next.
Now you're using it.
Yeah, so that's, you can see me, I'm literally like looking down the tongue so I can see where the glass is. And then it's kind of in that rounded shape.
Are there ever imperfections in the rods that you get, so that like if you start to heat them up, they'll?
Yep.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, especially opaque rods that because you can't see, there can be a air bubble
or something.
A lot of times it's just air in the rod, and it'll just
explode.
Yeah. In a clear one, you can see.
Yeah.
There's a bubble.
So when you're doing this, you're wearing some kind of goggles too, right?
Yeah, I wear these. These are
oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Lovely purple. But they let you see in the flame. They're called, and they're made with I can never say it. Didymium.
Some kind of coating to.
Yep, it's in the glass, and it blocks out the soda flare, because
so you don't blind yourself over time looking into the flame.
Yep, and it's like this red flare around the glass. The glass makes a red flare. So here I've done the little wave. I think I missed it, but you can see the wave shape. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
So it's basically, it just stuff the rod in the hot glass and twist it. And then I cut it off.
Oh.
You can melt it off in the flame too, but I find that cutting it leaves less glass behind for me to clean up. And if there's a lot of glass left behind when you're flattening it out to make the wave, you can distort the shape. Now I'm just going to add one of these, the little Marini guys.
It's remarkable. Those are, I mean, like, well, what else would they be made of? But still, this idea that they're so tiny.
They are tiny, but they start really big. Like a lot of them be this big when they're done, and then I think they get help to pull them out, because they're really big.
Well, I guess that means you get a lot of mileage out of just having one of those.
Yeah,
you just keep stretching.
They'll make one, and you
get 1,000 of them out of one chunk.
Yep. I make the little shell ones, but I only make them about this big, and I'll get enough that I can, barely reach.
Wow.
And it'll be, have two metal rods. It'll be on two metal rods, and stretch it, and then I kind of flip it out. We can go longer that way.
They're kind of spreading out right now also.
Yeah.
Heat is.
Yeah. That one's about done. See, you fast forwarded right through it. Easy peasy.
It's control right. 30 seconds, shift 30 seconds. So. That's fast.
It's easy when you know how and have all the right tools.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, like you guys were painting and drawing.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
So if you guys want to see it in slow motion, there's one similar to this on my YouTube channel too.
Mm.
You want to watch it slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There it is. That's beautiful.
There you go.
Wow, this is so beautiful. Really enjoyed watching it.
Great. I'm glad I got to come.
So when you put the blank in here, I think we only have 4 more participants in the online. So we used to have.
Every time.
Yeah, it's for those people who are online. So
Right.
yeah. All right. So
Should have been here.
yeah, you should have been here. Well,
How many do we have online today?
4.
Okay.
Vishaka, Maithili, and then I said 4 participants. Yeah, maybe Anand is also logged in. He'll come. That's right. Yeah. All right. So I'll be the one to thank you very much, Shelly. Yeah, it was very relaxing. Demo we've seen in a while. Yeah. So it's pretty useful. We could get hands-on on it. So, and we can touch and feel, and it's I would say it's a nice getaway from the grinding work, but not all of it. But she did an excellent work of. I wish we had the outdoor thing to see it firsthand with all their work and hand, but yeah. Yeah, I'll be out of town during that time, unfortunately. And the last year also I missed it. This year I'll probably miss it too. I'll be in India. So yeah.
Anytime you want to come up, you have to do it.
Yep. All right. That's an honor.
There you go.
That's basically where she lives, right?
Yeah. Every year I probably go there at least 10 times up and down that road because I go to the Mount Hamilton often.
Yeah.
Night charts and things like that, chart photography. So at least 10 to 15 times I drive by her place. So anyway, so thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. So Anandi or probably Divya will contact you for the rest for the things to consider. So is there anything from my side I need to do? Nothing else. So, because this is the first time I'm doing so. President is missing, and then yeah. So yeah, we'll bring. Thank you. Yeah. And we will post some of her work on our messenger group, and then some of the pictures which she has taken. So it will be an inspiring one. And also write a post about how this all went. So we'll probably get to see this one. Her website is there on the flyers, and then the newsletter as well. So that's the best time to contact her. So thank you very much. I'll probably end the show.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun.
They doing sales?
Yeah, I'm on my foot.
Get one of them.
I need to stop this.
You're like PayPal or
Can you stop the recording?
I could do whatever works best for you.